Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me for another precious metal ramble. Now today I want to share a cautionary tale of a gentleman who is facing a near £250,000 loss on his gold investments. Now that's not because he has been victim to the fluctuations of gold price of the last couple of weeks and months. Instead, he's a victim of a different kind because he's been vastly overcharged for the gold that he has been buying. So we've got a cautionary tale from both sides here, in fact. The company in question, which I can't name and shame, we'll talk more about that in a moment, has, in my opinion, been doing a lot of morally reprehensible stuff and borderline predatory behaviour, and we'll warn about that and some of the warning signs. But there's also an element here from the individual side. What could they have done differently or better? Are they to blame in any way, or are they just simply purely a victim? There are definitely lessons to be learned, and hopefully you will learn them along with me as we go throughout this video. Now, if you like our content, not necessarily the fact that this poor chap is facing a near £250,000 loss, then don't forget to hit the like button. And if you like our style of content and you're not subscribed, then you know what to do, hit the subscribe button. So yeah, this guy is facing a big loss. Now, as I said, I can't name and shame the company, so that's where I want to sort of start. I wish I could. I wish I could plaster their name and the directors of this company all over social media and tell everyone out there what morally reprehensible individuals they are and how, in my opinion, they've completely taken advantage of this gentleman. But I can't, because they've technically done nothing illegal. So the pricing of collectibles and coins is subjective, and in many circles you find sellers asking for ridiculous sums for various different coins that they might have. So there is nothing illegal done about this. However, there is certainly some predatory style behaviour that's gone on with the gentleman in question. So a little bit of the background of the story. I found out about this because he got in touch with me about selling his gold. I've got lots of gold here. I sell lots of gold for other people. That's part of my business. That's what I do. And he'd seen that I sell gold on behalf of other people. So he got in touch and said, can I help him with his gold collection and maybe sell some? So I said, of course, let's see what you've got. And he then let me know the first coin that he chose to tell me about was a 1 kilo, yes, you heard it right, 1 kilo gold proof James Bond 007 coin from the Royal Mint. Now this is a coin that is a kilo of gold, so it's got an inherent value of around £50,000 worth of gold content. RRP from the mint at the time, back in 2020 or 2021 when it came out, was about 65 grand, something like that, maybe a touch higher. He was charged £93,000 for it. So yeah, that immediately set a few alarm bells racing in my mind. Now, we've all seen in the recent last couple of years the huge hype, and there's certainly been a market for proof collectible coins. And there was at some point some coins like the Una and the Lion, the Gothics, the Three Graces coin from the Great Engravers that did exceptionally well. And maybe there were some coins within that realm that got huge prices. But I don't ever recall the James Bond coins being that great. But anyway, I said to the guy, well, no, we can't sell that coin. It's far too expensive. And your best bet is an auction. You're probably going to get about 60 grand for it if you're lucky. And then there's auction fees to take off. And he was a bit perturbed by that. And he then told me about all the other coins that he'd been buying from the Royal Mint, or from this seller, not the Royal Mint directly, but Royal Mint coins. And yeah, the vast majority, if not all of them, have been vastly overpriced. There are coins in his collection that are, huge 5-ounce gold coins, proof coins that were RRP'd at, £11,000 from the Royal Mint that never did anything in terms of, hype and extra value that he's paid 20 grand for, and some 15, 20 grand for. It's just mad. He's also bought a bunch of MS graded coins, so just bullion coins. MS69 coins is another favourite of these type of companies. A huge premium, nearly £2,000 per coin. So for a 1-ounce gold, really, really bad. And so I got a little bit more in sort of with him and talking about the whole situation. And he was explaining one of the big things that really got me was that they, of course, we're talking about this as an investment, really great opportunity, blah, 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 blah. We've all heard that before. He bought some coins off them. He then subsequently sold them back to this company for a profit on 2 occasions. Then he went overboard and put in nearly £500,000 worth into this company. That, in my opinion, is super, super predatory. And as I said, there's no sort of indication right now that there's an illegal act taking place here. But oh my, there is certainly some morally reprehensible things going on here. And yeah, they've kind of almost conned him into thinking, well, there's profit here, because they bought back at a profit, you see. They bought back at a profit. And then he got more, he rolled over his investments. So that's danger, 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 in my opinion. Really, really scary stuff, and it can happen to anyone. So the question here, I guess, is it really just a bad actor? Is it a bad dealer? Is it a scammer or fraudster that's really taking advantage of somebody? Or should there be some blame attributed to the individual? Now, we'll talk a little bit more on some of those elements in the second part of this video, but first, a quick note from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Gold Mining Incorporated, and a big thank you to them for sponsoring our channel. As you can see, they are acquiring and advancing gold projects in the Americas. Now, if we're talking in today's video topic about the gentleman spending exorbitantly high amounts on his gold, the polar opposite can be said when you buy stocks in junior mining companies, certainly those that focus on precious metals, and Gold Mining Incorporated, as the clue would suggest, focuses on gold. Now, when you're buying these kind of things, of course, you need to do a lot of due diligence, which is another topic that we're talking about in this video. So it's well worth having a look at their website, which are linked down below, and you can see their ticker symbols up here. And we're also going to have a quick look at some of their information in the corporate presentation. So when you're buying into a gold mining company, you're essentially looking at the gold that's in the ground still. And of course, it's going to cost money to bring it out of the ground. But ultimately, you are looking at what's there. It's called inferred gold. And for Gold Mining Incorporated, there's an awful lot of gold that's potentially in the ground, up to 32 million ounces. Now, if you have any semblance of what gold is worth at the moment, 32 million times the price of gold is an awful lot of money. And the thing that gets me most interested about Gold Mining Incorporated is that their market cap is currently valued at only 201 million. Even if we put a really quite median value on the price of the gold that comes out of the ground, a small profit margin, let's call it, there is a potential for a significant, of course, uptick in that market cap. Now look, I'm not an investment expert or guru, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but of course, when you see gold prices go down like we have of the last couple of weeks and months, it makes these kind of companies less likely to bring things out the ground, but it makes them more likely to focus on the future of R&D and actually getting to a point at some point where they will bring it out the ground. So it will happen eventually. The gold will come out and people want to have that gold. So when it will happen, I don't know, and it's all about due diligence, and I would highly recommend that you go and have a look at all of the information about this company if you're at all interested in getting involved with them. I have their ticker symbols here, as you can see. For the New York Stock Exchange, it's GLDG, and for the Toronto Stock Exchange, it's gold. So very interesting company altogether, but certainly worth remembering that junior mining stocks are very volatile. They go up, they go down. They are beholden very much to that price of gold. If we see a crash of gold, it could be decades before any kind of return comes on these kind of companies. However, of course, if gold starts to go up quite a lot, it could accelerate the potential to get the gold out of the ground and yield a significant return. So go in with a pinch of salt, do your own due diligence. It would be remiss of me not to say that, certainly when we're talking about this video about the gentleman doing his own due diligence on the company that he's buying from. But when there's 32 million ounces worth of gold in the ground, it does make you think about that potential going into the future. So thank you to Gold Mining Incorporated for their sponsorship of today's video. And if you're interested, all of that information is down in the description box below. So back to the video and back to some of the woes of this gentleman. And so a big thank you for the sponsorship. It means a lot to our channel. Now back to the story at hand. The gentleman was somewhat naive, I think. We got to put some blame, and it's difficult to attribute full blame in this situation, but we've got to attribute some, I think, to this gentleman. In my opinion, anybody out there looking to part with the kinds of sums of money that this gentleman was, even at the start when he was buying smaller amounts, you need to do your due diligence. And gold and silver is a dangerous area where you can get taken for quite quickly. And this guy's quite lucky in the sense that he has taken physical delivery of actual gold coins. I haven't tested them all, so I don't know if they're all genuine, but one would assume that they are all genuine. But he has vastly overpaid for them. it's important to do your research. If somebody's telling you something is going to be the best thing since sliced bread, it might not be. And I don't think this gentleman really understood the game well enough to do that. But in my opinion, maybe he should have done it at that price point level. So there's definitely some sort of errors to be had, or errors to be learned from the buyer's perspective. Now, from the seller's perspective, there are other things that you can look at to really see whether or not something is as good or as bad as they say it is. Now, researching a particular company here in the United Kingdom is actually very easy. You can find a lot of information out from Companies House. Most of these companies, they're kind of legitimate legal fraudsters, in my opinion, legitimate legal scammers. They do everything that makes the company look real and legit. So they will be registered with Companies House. They will have a company registration number. You can go and search that company's name on Companies House. Sometimes the name of the registration company and the trading name will be slightly different, but you can find them. And if this gentleman had done that and had seen that this particular dealer, this gold dealer in 2020 had turned over no more than about £100,000 worth, that in itself is an alarm bell. If you're looking to spend £500,000 with a particular company and their past turnover track record is only £100,000 in the world of gold, yeah, no. If you're a gold dealer and you're only selling £100,000 worth of gold, and remember that's turnover, not profit, turnover, then yeah, you're doing something wrong. So that's a big warning sign that you can always look at. Have a look at how long they've been established, have a look at their company accounts, have a look at their directors. If the directors have done various different companies before, have the companies all been dissolved, have they been moved on, have they been bankrupted? There are a whole load of different things that you can do. And once you find the company's director's name out, you can do CCJ record lookups for them, although I would imagine being a director of a limited company might be difficult for county court judgments and things. There are a whole host of different things that you can do to really kind of have a good look at their history. And the really horrible thing is for this gentleman that's potentially lost all this money is that now he's actually seeing the birds from the trees, and he's going and doing some of this research now. They've subsequently updated their company books and accounts, and the £500,000 that he spent with them spread over 2021 and 2022, they're on their books. So the company's turnover now is near 400,000 for 2021, and for 2022 is near 200,000. It's just hilarious in a horrible way. Like, you can't help but smile at just the ridiculousness of the situation. It should not happen like this, but unfortunately, there are scammers and fraudsters out there and chancers that will do this, and they hide behind this veil of professionalism. And it's not difficult these days to create a website that looks really professional, swish, and you've got all of these customer testimonials and all of this. It's just not difficult at all. And unfortunately, it's getting more and more common for people to fall victim and foul of these types of situations. So what has this gentleman got as recourse for this? Well, as he's told me, he's still technically on good terms with this company. I mean, that's some brevity right there. In my opinion, I would have been screaming and shouting and barreling down the doors of this company to try and get my money back. But instead, he's trying, because he has had, and it's maybe part of the whole con from this company, he's had, of course, profits from them in the past from selling coins to him. But when you look at the company's records, the chance of him getting that £500,000 out again is next to none, in my opinion. So he got in touch with me to try and maybe sell some of his gold, and I can't. It's far too much, and it's far too expensive, and it's far too, sort of niche in its proof collectible nature. And he's only really left with selling maybe to a dealer, and a dealer will give him spot price if he's lucky. And most dealers out there right now might not be that willing to spend £500,000 on some stock that is old proof coins that are worth next to nothing in that sort of collectible market right now, and hold that stock for a long time. So auctions is another option. Might have better prices from auctions than certain dealers, but it's going to be a bit of a road for this gentleman, it really is. So it does happen more than you think, unfortunately, and I wouldn't be surprised if there are vast numbers of other people out there who are sitting on what they think are really great coin collections that are worth tens of thousands of pounds more than they spent, but the reality is they're not. Now, I do want to sort of finish this by saying that I individually have a lot of proof coins. I buy a lot of proof coins, and there's nothing wrong with spending money on a proof coin and paying over the price of the gold content on a particular coin or a silver coin. You've got to understand the risks though. Some proof coins will not make money. Some proof coins will lose you a lot of money. And there's no doubt in my mind that there's a lot of proof coins in my collection that will lose a lot of money. It depends how you sell them though. It depends where you go and how you do it. There's a fine line between morally reprehensible like this particular company that has, in my opinion, ripped this chap off, or just a coin dealer for fair market value. Now, if I was to look to sell some of my proof coins right now, what I certainly would not be doing is listing them at optimistic prices, saying, I want 5 grand for this 1 ounce gold proof. And maybe some person, poor unsuspecting person, will come along and buy it. That's not what I want to do. If I'm selling something, I sell it. I get it gone. It's gone. It's at the price that I want to sell it, that it sells at. And that's what my selling service is all about. And if you've been admiring and salivating over these 50 gold sovereigns here in the background, this is a prime example of you price something, it sells. These are coins that were sold on the Silver Forum. They're not mine. I wish I had 50 gold sovereigns. I'm about to package them all up and send them out to their new owner. But yeah, you know, if you price things correctly, they sell right. It is important to remember though that not everything will earn you big bucks. And this modern world of post Wall Street bets and Wall Street silver, quick turnaround profit and shoot the moon and all of this, it ain't gonna happen. And it's slow and steady wins the race. Coin collections, you know, proof coins, risky, definitely, but there are some that are good, and it's difficult sometimes to see the birds from the trees on that, especially when you've got somebody with a really nice posh accent telling you how great they are, which is why I try and be as objective and honest and open about these things as possible. And I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. So please do feel free to comment with your thoughts on this particular subject. It'd be great to hear from you. And if you're watching to the end of my video, thank you. You know what you are. You're a super cool Kids Club member, part of the Backyard Bullion Ramblers. And if for whatever reason you're not subscribed and you're watching to this point in the video, then goodness sake, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, that's it from me. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next one. And as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.